Men don't like rich ladies. That's men of the old. The men of 2024 want women who are well to do. You don't have to be wealthy, but if they see you, let them know that you have something going for you. When my husband Hi, welcome to this video. So today I'm talking to you about strategic positioning. So let me tell you something, right? What I barely share is my relationship with myself that has birthed the other relationships. And in this video, I'll be doing justice to that. Now, there are three things you should focus on in life if you want to be happily married. So listen attentively. What did I say? There are three things you should focus on if you want to be happily married. The first thing to focus on is your relationship with God. Let me tell you why you should focus on this. God gives you better ears, gives you better eyes, gives you better taste. So your taste in men will gradually transform if you are being transformed by God, if you're being changed by God, if you're being renewed by God. So you need to focus on your relationship with God, because if you know how I met my husband, it was divine. It was God's orchestration. So imagine that I wasn't prioritizing my relationship with God. There is no way I would have met my husband in the season and in the time that I met him. So I focused a lot on my relationship with God as a single lady, and that is why it was so easy for me to cut out all the unnecessary relationships with guys, friends that won't take me anywhere. It was so easy because I prioritized my relationship with God, and God covers me from the hands of the enemy. That's number one. The second thing you should prioritize is your purpose. There are two things your purpose does for you. Your purpose makes you attractive. Your purpose gives you finances. Now, no man wants a broke woman, right? You don't have to be as rich as he is, but you are definitely not looking homeless. And you don't want to depend on people to look good. So you must be able to finance your appearance. Your appearance is the first thing that men see. Go and read the Bible, Esther 2, from beginning to end. You will see that the king saw Esther. He didn't really say much to her. He just decided that he would marry her because her appearance was worked on. So your purpose helps you be a person of value and everything, but it also gives you access to resources to beautify yourself. I want you to know this and know this for life. Don't believe anybody who says, yeah, men don't like rich ladies. That's men of the old. The men of 2024 want women who are well to do. You don't have to be wealthy, but if they see you, let them know that you have something going for you. When my husband found my page on Instagram, right, he thought that I was richer than I actually was because I was not joking with my appearance. I would never joke with my appearance. That's the first thing people see. So I barely get people mistreating me when I go to the shop or go out. Like, people barely treat me anyhow. And I'm not surprised. It's not grace, it's not favor, it's not prayer. It's how I choose to appear every time. Even when I'm going to buy a piece of onions, I dress well. All right, because you don't know who will bump into you. You don't know the day you will meet your husband. So if you're in purpose, you can finance your appearance, you can finance your life. When he comes into your life and sees what you have made with your life, he would say, this is truly a woman of virtue. All right, so purpose does those two things for you. The third one is your relationship with yourself. Now, let me explain something to you. When you have a good relationship with yourself, you don't just attract a good man, you attract a good friend, you attract good things. You are a person of high standard. You're a high value woman when you have a good relationship with yourself. When I was working back in Nigeria, I was single. Now, I was working as a seni. Senis are nannies that look after autistic children or children with special needs, right? And I got this job. Now, I worked on my appearance like I will always do, and I went for this job interview making sure that I smell good, my breath is good, everything is good. And I got there, and there were other nurses. Me, I didn't have any training at the time to be a seni. No certification whatsoever, just that I look after my nephews once in a while. And I went for this job interview, and the reason why the man picked me was my confidence. The CEO, the boss. So there were different families of different, standards and wealth. all of that. He sent me to the fanciest family. For so long, I thought it was prayer, it was this. But then I started to read books and understand that people will always put their best candidate forward. So he pushed me to that family because he knew that I was well equipped to know who I was, to know how to speak, to know how to play with their kids. It was when I stopped working at that house I found out that they had CCTV cameras installed everywhere, even in the kitchen. So imagine that I would just go into their face, just be eating. They would have seen that I was a person of nonsense. What do Yorubas call it? A person of no level, sha. So he sent me to that family just by one interview. He asked me, now listen, he asked me, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? I said to him, I think I have more weaknesses than strengths. He said he's never interviewed anybody who was that honest about their weaknesses. And the same thing I said to my husband when he asked me about my strengths and my weaknesses. I said I have more weaknesses than my strength. I said my strength, I have about two. One is loyalty. I'm a loyal friend. You will never tell me something that you hear from anywhere. That's one. Number two, I think I said I honor God or so. Yes, my relationship with God is the second thing. And then that's the same thing I said at that interview, and they picked me. I applied for the job on Sunday. I started working on Tuesday. Why did I start working on Tuesday? Because Monday was my interview. If not, I would have started working on Monday. When you love yourself, you're not trying to make people love you. See me, love me. Do you understand? I was so confident in myself that I told the man that, listen, I have more weaknesses than strength, but I'll tell you my strength first. Do you understand? So when I said my strength first, he wasn't even really listening for my weaknesses, because I'm honest enough to say there are some things I can't do. Laundry, I cannot do. But you see, I can play with the child. I told him that at the interview. I said I can play with the child. The child will never need a friend because I'll be there. He'd never seen somebody. Some people say, I can wash, I can do. It's not by how many things you can do, but it's by how well you can do what you can do. Never forget that. Always remember that people will give you the honor and respect that you demand. So come with a knowledge of self-awareness every time. Whenever you're speaking to somebody, ask yourself, I hope that I am speaking from a place of self-awareness. I hope I'm putting my best foot forward. I hope I'm representing my generation, not just talking anyhow and just being shy and being afraid. Focus. Number one, remember I said, your relationship with God really does a lot for you. It gives you confidence when you don't have confidence. The second one is your purpose, the thing that you do that brings things to you, brings people to you, brings nations to you. The third is your relationship with yourself. If you have these three sorted out, you will attract a man that also has these three sorted out. But most times we keep attracting jokers because we're jokers. So recently someone was telling me that, oh, you remember that lady? She used to speak to you anyhow. She used to treat you anyhow. I told her, yes, I remember. The lady was permitted to speak to me the way she used to speak to me. You know why? Because I was not a person of value. I will wake up every morning rolling from one side of the bed to the other, no value, no nothing, looking for who will cook indomie for me to eat. That was how I used to live at some point. But a book I read, Parable of Dollars first, I think it was Success is Who You Are, was the first book I read that opened my eyes to see that I was joking with my life. So you don't want to joke with your life, you want to take your life seriously so people can take you seriously as well. And by the grace of God, you will go into a wholesome relationship where you're celebrated, where you're loved, where you are appreciated. I love you with the love of God. Remain on fire for God. Bye-bye. See you next time, and tell me where you're watching from. Give it a thumbs up. Bye-bye.